Hey there, before we get into our Dune episode, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to all of our new patrons over at patreon.com/The Cinemile. So a big thank you to you, Oliver Martell, to Kyle De Bruyne, to Max, to Lucy Creedon, to Brendan Curran, Tom Goodfellow, Tobias Hansen, Nuala Dormer, Catherine Maloney and Emily Montague. Thank you all so much for joining our Patreon page and subscribing for £2 or £3 a month, where you can get access to more than 30 retro movie reviews, loads of TV reviews, including our weekly Succession Season 3 episodes. So that's patreon.com/The Cinemile. Hi, it's Dave here. This is my wife, Kathy.
Hello.
This is The Cinemile, the podcast where we walk home from the movies. We're going to see a movie. It's called Dune. A little movie called Dune.
Yeah.
The little movie that could. It finally got released. This and No Time to Die. Both due last year, I believe.
Are you excited for Dune?
Yeah. This is by renowned Canadian sci-fi filmmaker Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah, you're obsessed with him, right?
As I think his name is pronounced.
I don't think so.
So this is the dude that made Arrival, which was my favourite movie of the year that it came out. Mm-hmm. He made Blade Runner 2049, which was my favourite movie of the year that came out.
Really?
Yeah. You said exactly what you said when I said it was my favourite movie that year.
I mean, I liked it.
Go back and check that out. And he also made other great movies such as Passengers and Sicario. He's an awesome director and talent. So yeah, this is one of those ones where you show up for the director, right? For me, he's the event.
Yeah, I really like him as a director, and in terms of Dune itself, I'm not. I know it's like a cult classic and a huge thing, but for me, I think I've read about half the book and gave up. And then I've never seen the original movie. What about you? You've read the book, right?
I've read the first book and I read half the second book and then I gave up. So I think I got a bit further than you. And that's 10 years ago, so my memory is somewhat sketchy. But I remember it really enjoying it. It's got, it's a big, epic book. It's grand in scale. It's all about plot. It's all about plot. It's got plot. It's got
Great.
plotting.
What a fantastic book
It's
review.
got plotting and intrigue, and it's very sort of a big space opera. So I'm excited about it.
Have
It's
you
got
seen the
worms.
movie? It's the original movie, David
I've
Lynch,
seen
right?
it, but not for a long time. I didn't think much of it.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Now that's a cult classic. I think the book is just regarded as a classic. I think the David Lynch thing is a cult classic.
Right.
It's a bit odd.
Well, anyway, I'm like, because
Sting is in it wearing a nappy.
Because it's what's his name, Denis
Villeneuve.
Right. That's not how you say it.
It's
by the way.
Villeneuve. It's
Okay.
French. He's French.
Anyway,
Canadian.
I can't say it, Denis Villeneuve, but because it's him, I'm interested, and obviously all the hype, and of course Oscar Isaac, who is my one
There's
true
a
love.
great cast in this.
Yeah.
My God, let's rattle them off. Yeah, you got Oscar Isaac playing the older, sexy gentleman.
Yeah, can't wait.
As he is now typecast as. You've got
Rebecca Ferguson.
Rebecca Ferguson, thank you, who's awesome in everything. Kick-ass female action hero.
What's his name?
Timothy Chalamet.
I'm
Another
curious
French name. Chalimali, I think his name is.
Curious to see him as a lead, because
Have you seen him in anything?
he
Walking
walking the wrong way.
No? This is the road.
I've seen him in Little Women, right?
Oh yeah.
And no, he is someone that like people are obsessed with, right?
Timmy Chalamet.
He's literally like the new.
He's everywhere.
He's like the new Leonardo DiCaprio,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. He's this teen heartthrob.
But
and I feel really out of touch.
I feel really out of touch because
I'm like, who is he?
I watched him in Little Women and I was like, this is a prepubescent child. Like, I cannot believe people fancy him this much. Like,
how could you say that about Timmy Chalamet?
basically, it's like when I see people on TikTok who've like 5 million followers and like all they do is like a dance that loops for 15 seconds and I'm like, I don't understand why people are watching this.
But
with him I'm like, I don't understand why people fancy him.
Well,
And
it's
in
the kind of thing where, like, in 1996, it was appropriate for teenage you to have a crush on Leo DiCaprio as he slid off that wardrobe into the ocean depths of the ocean. But it is not appropriate for 36-year-old you to be crushing on prepubescent Timmy
But he's
Millie.
not actually prepubescent though.
Well,
He's a man.
what is he, 20?
He's a man. Like, it would be appropriate if I found him attractive.
If you were all thirsty over a 20-year-old skinny boy, I'd
That's
be a
what I
little
mean. He's a
concerned.
skinny boy. I
Yeah.
don't get it. Anyway, so I'm interested to see him as a lead because, I mean, he's certainly good in Little Women. Like, he's not done anything wrong in that movie. He's just, I don't get it. So I'm curious to see him as the lead.
I don't think I've seen him in anything.
Yeah, you probably haven't. He's going to
in
be
the
Willy
French,
Wonka.
He's in the French Dispatch at the same time. He's double billing it at
Did
the
you
cinema.
see he's playing young Willy Wonka?
I did,
in the Willy Wonka
which
prequel.
you know, to be fair, I have no interest in that movie, and it can go to hell. Like, who wants that? But he looks the part. To be fair to him,
I mean,
gotta
he's got
say,
the same hair as Gene
he's
Wilder.
got the hair.
If that's what you mean.
He's got the hair. He's a skinny Timmy playing a Willy.
Right. Anyway, yeah.
So, wait, we've gone way off course.
Agree on that note, though. I'd rather die than watch the Willy Wonka prequel. Anyway, off to the cinema.
Let's go to the cinema. See Dune.
We are House Atreides. There is no call we do not answer. There is no faith that we betray.
Smile, Gurney.
I am smiling. The Emperor asks us to bring peace to Arrakis. House Atreides accepts!
I know you. There's something awakening in my mind.
You need to face your fears.
Come with me. You need to be ready. You've never met Harkonnens before. They're not human, they're brutal.
The Duke's son sees too much.
This is my Dune. Kill them all. God in heaven.
Oh, hello. We're back.
Hello.
We saw Dune.
Yeah.
Part 1.
Yeah, didn't know it was a part
shocker.
one.
Excuse me, marketing material. You didn't make that clear.
No.
It just says Dune on the poster. I signed up for Dune, and I didn't get Dune. I got half a Dune.
Yeah.
Right? So I thought that was a sneaky move.
I thought it
I'm
was
not
sneaky as
happy,
well.
Denis Villeneuve
No.
or Timmy Millie.
No.
You have done one over on me. Now that said, I had an amazing experience and it's a brilliant movie. But I am a little disappointed on that front. Little bit of point of order before we crack on.
Some housekeeping.
Some housekeeping at the top of the show. We somehow didn't end up seeing this movie together due to scheduling conflicts.
And by scheduling contacts, we mean conflicts. One of us had to mind our children.
Yeah, we couldn't get a babysitter to see Dune Part 1. So we went separately. So this isn't the immediate review that we like to do here on the
Yeah.
Cinemile. But
I've
we
seen
are
it more recently than Dave.
Yeah, so I saw it 3 years ago in a pre-production suite with Denis Villeneuve. So yeah, it's a few days old for me, but it's had time to gestate. Whereas for you, it's pretty fresh. So let's get into it. So, hello, welcome to the Cinemile. If it's your first time here, there are no spoilers until we get to Spoiler Street.
In this case, spoilers and.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It was interesting because I went to see it on my own, which, by the way, going to cinema on my own is my favourite activity.
It's a treat.
Yeah, it's a real
Right, sorry,
treat.
that you prefer. That's preferable to you than going with me. That's what you're saying.
Depending on the day.
Because
Yesterday.
that's not the hierarchy of my preferences.
Yesterday, my
my
preference.
one true love.
My preference was to be alone in the cinema, and I got it.
Okay, fine.
It was interesting because I had effectively no expectations of the movie, other than everyone said I saw that people really liked it on Twitter. And I went at 4 p.m, which I highly recommend. Dave went to a late showing, got a bit sleepy.
It's a sleepy movie a little
It's a
bit.
slow movie.
I was so tired and it was 11:30 and I was just like, oh my god, I
But
can't
if you
stay
go
awake.
at 4 o'clock like I did, it's a slow movie and it kind of it's long, but actually in the afternoon I found that I really enjoyed that. It really washed over me. It's very atmospheric, like a lot of his films are.
And in fact, you saw it on a Sunday afternoon, which I think is the ideal time to watch this.
Oh yeah, it's a perfect Sunday afternoon film.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy the director's movies, particularly obviously you mentioned Arrival. It definitely feels like it's by the same person who made Arrival. What's interesting is I probably spent the first hour thinking, yeah, this is nice, this is good. Obviously the world building's great,
is
and
nice.
I completely fancy Oscar Isaac, but aside from that, it felt a bit pointless to me, much like the Little Woman remake last year, starring said Timothy, where I'd been like, yeah, this is a really good remake, like Greta Gerwig's really great and it's a great movie, but like, what's the point of it?
Why are we here?
And then as it went on, the longer it went on, and as the world building really kicked in and the story, I loved it. I really loved it. I surprised myself by how much I loved it, actually.
Gets under your skin, doesn't it?
It's just like
The world building is
so
right.
strong.
It's very well delivered. The whole there's a lot to unpack, and at times they do rely on sort of there's nothing massively unconventional or interesting in terms of exposition here. It's a lot, at the beginning it's a lot of like Timmy Shilly-Milly looking at hollow vids of explaining literally
but
somebody.
it's very easy to follow though, and apparently the first movie isn't. So
I
apparently
think
it's
it's
a very
effective, yeah.
apparently people had said it was an unfilmable book. So I think how clear and easy this was to follow speaks very highly.
Very
of
clear.
filmmaker.
It's very, you get a clear sense of kind of all the different factions. You get a clear sense of the characters, who they are, their relationships to each other. I think they use that 2.5 hours like very well to space out the plot.
Yeah, really,
and give
like-
it breathing room. Nothing felt rushed.
It gets going, and I got really into it, and like some of the things I really liked about it were like it's very new world, right? It's not something I've really seen before. Obviously it looks like a lot of other movies, but it feels really original on screen.
What do you
I
mean by
love-
new world?
Like I just loved the whole world they created in terms of like the spice thing and like the sandworms, and like there's a machine in it that's kind of like some sort of helicopter meets airplane meets something else, and it looked like
It's like a dragonfly.
It looked like a real vehicle.
Yeah, it's
like that
awesome.
just looked real to me. Like it looked like he shot it on location, which makes no sense.
Well, sorry.
with real vehicles.
I totally agree with you. That's what blew me away about this movie, was that at one point I realized at no minute, not for 1 minute in this movie, could I see a film set or see some CG.
Yeah.
Right? It was entirely immersive and engrossing. Like I believed every single frame. I just felt like this world existed, and that is an achievement in itself. Because we watch so many movies, you can easily be just taken out of something.
It's really a big screen movie.
quickly.
But it's interesting because we're talking about Timothy as the lead, and I'm just not going to try and say his surname.
Chalamet.
And
right?
I think he fits the role actually in that he looks very young, and the character is supposed to be quite young.
Whereas Kyle MacLachlan is a full grown ass man.
And obviously, we don't know if there's going to be a part 2 yet, because weirdly they haven't announced it. But I was thinking, if they haven't filmed it yet, he's surely going to at some point actually start looking like a man.
Yeah.
Like, and he's
It'll
going to
be-
look dramatically older between the movies. So I'm presuming they're going to make a second movie because like
It'll
they
be
put
released
so much
12
money.
years from now.
Like, why didn't they just film them back to back?
I don't know. I can't believe they
crazy.
haven't greenlit it. It is crazy. I
Like,
think
you've
maybe
got-
they're trying to see how the numbers do at the weekend.
Yeah, but like from a cost perspective, like with the Lord of the Rings or whatever, you do them together.
Maybe
Maybe
they
pull
d-
down all the sets, get all the
Maybe
cast
they
back together.
filmed it, but they haven't.
No, they haven't filmed it.
They haven't even filmed it.
No, because
Oh,
I
wow.
looked it up because I was like, well, presumably. I was thinking like presumably they've already made it and they're just going to release it next year. It's like no, they haven't even made it yet.
Yeah.
So
Do
bizarre.
a Matrix on it.
It just seems really odd to me that they haven't made it already, because I think part of his charm is that he does look so young and is very convincing in the role from that perspective, and that's going to be lost.
I
which
gotta
is
say,
weird.
I thought he was really good.
I thought he was really good too.
Really, really
Yeah.
good. Just convincingly uncertain, convincingly pubescent, as you described
Yeah.
him. Like I bought him as a teenager, right, or whatever he's supposed to be, like late teen.
And he's
like,
in that role like a Luke Skywalker or a Harry Potter, where it's like someone who's almost like their destiny is out of their control and they're just kind of like along for the ride to be a hero, and like
But he
it's hard
expresses
to do that.
frustration at that.
Yeah, it's
And-
hard to do that without like to have a character with kind of no agency and to keep them interesting, and I thought he did a good job of it.
Yeah, I thought he was really good as well. On that note about the whole destiny thing and all that, I got like without going into spoilers. There's what's interesting to me watching this back. It's a 60-year-old book, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the actual plot and the characters are actually really like archetypal and very like I was watching it again because it's been 10 years since I read it, and I was watching this thinking like, I kind of feel like I've seen all these people 1,000 times before. It is very much just like, it's like Game of Thrones in space with like an overlay of like destiny and like
let's-
the chosen one, and there's all these
Will we go to spoilers and then we can talk about
Yeah,
the
sure,
archetypes
sure.
and stuff.
Yeah,
So full spoilers on Spoiler Sand for Dune Part Uno. I think
Yes, spoiler. Another
spoil,
quick
spoil.
spoil. We're spoiling. Turn off your headphones.
don't get angry with us if it's now spoiled. We've given you loads of warnings. You'd be
Yeah.
amazed that people actually get really angry after you've given them warnings that you then spoil something.
That's why we're continuing to stress this very long warning.
Also, by the way, this is a 60-year-old property, so we shouldn't be too worried.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know the kind of stuff where like your dad dies and then you're on a journey.
Oh, what?
What was slightly fun about this
dad
was
dies?
unusual that he went on the journey then with his mom, right? Like
no,
unusual
I've
that the
been
mom
on
would have been
loads of
along
journeys with my mom.
in these kind of movies. But we have to talk about
I thought that was unusual as well, actually. You're right, because what normally
cool.
happens is both parents die.
Exactly.
And you have the orphan child, or the Luke Skywalker without his aunt and uncle, or
or
as
the
you
Harry
said,
Potter orphan.
Harry
like,
Potter
it's
orphan,
very
right.
common.
They have to
character.
learn their craft without the help. But he's got his mother, who's also the expert witch, which I loved. I loved all that
I
stuff.
loved
I loved
like
the voice
put your
and the
hand
witch
in the
and-
box, Timothy.
Yeah. The box. That's one thing
that scene
that
was
stuck with me
class.
from the book, and that's really well done here.
Yeah, really well done. I thought he
Yeah.
acted being in pain very well.
He did,
Yeah.
didn't he? Like I get why everyone is thirsty for Timmy now. He's really he's a very, just like Leonardo DiCaprio was at that age. He's a really capable and
No
interesting
Leo
actor.
though. He doesn't have the floppy hair.
Give him another 20 years. We'll be watching him being mauled by a bear, whatever.
But his hair, I have to say, by side note, is actually fabulous. It's just not a floppy 90s hair. But can we talk about Oscar Isaac, please, and how amazing he is? First
Yeah.
of all, love that he is like overlord of like a planet. Also, like an incredible pilot. Like that scene when he goes and rescues
He's awesome.
all those like
he's-
20 people from that sand thing, right? That was so cool.
So cool.
Love
But just
all the
does it
sand stuff.
effortlessly. Like there's men down there.
And I'm like,
But,
you're the Duke of a whole planet, whatever. I couldn't figure
and
out
I
his
loved
title.
all his like fatherly advice to, he was again this archetypal perfect kind of father and like really noble leader. But I bought into that. I was there for all the archetypes.
What about the reveal, like towards the end, that him and the mom weren't married and she was his concubine?
I know. They were
and
living in sin
I
that
love
whole
that.
time.
I love that he said to the son, to Timothy, "Oh, I just want you to be my son." Whereas the mom's like, "No, you are
You're the chosen one.
Yeah, the mom's like, "I have much bigger plans for you." But I love all the stuff with Oscar Isaac being the pilot, and then I really enjoyed Oscar Isaac's death scene where he had the tooth thing that he let off.
Oh, so good.
That was so good.
And also the betrayal. I didn't remember any of that. As far as I know, the movie is quite faithful to the source material.
I mean, I'm presuming so based on nothing.
But I didn't remember any of that, and that took me by surprise. That the betrayal.
What
and
about the creature
Oh, how
design?
got it? Can we just talk about that
Stellan
whole?
Skarsgård.
Stellan Skarsgård was awesome and
It took
creepy.
me so long to recognise him. I was
Yeah.
like, the voice.
Really good.
Yeah, I love when he just kind of he's kind of a merman. What's going on with the bottom of his body?
Man.
I don't know what he is.
He was floating, I think. He's levitating from all the spice because I think he's consumed so much spice
Right.
that he is like supernatural or
Could
something.
do with some spice. It seems to be incredible. Unless
it's
you're
the
Timothy
best.
and you're allergic to it, and then it's absolute zero crack.
Him and I tell you what I wasn't enjoying was him having the same bloody waking dream over and over
Of his
again.
manic pixie
of
dream girl.
Zendaya flitting through the desert. And
enjoyed
also,
that.
I was a little confused at his dreams. He was having conversations with people in his dreams, which I thought were going to be like things that are going to come to pass. But then they weren't. They were, he was conversing with people who would later die without having done any of those things.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. It was almost like I think it was like he was seeing dual possibilities.
Yeah, and I'm sure
I
this
love-
is all explained in the book that I don't remember.
And there
but
was all sorts of creepy voices whispering, but I couldn't quite understand. But I really enjoyed that kind of bit of a twist for us, whereby he had to take the knife and actually kill the man, but he didn't want to kill him, and like he offered him mercy and stuff. I really enjoyed that whole fight scene, and I think Zendaya is really great. And I think one of the reasons they had to do all the flash forwards was because like she's a huge movie star, and like you can't really just not have her in the movie
Yeah.
when she's going to be a huge part of the
she's
next
all
movie.
over the press for this movie as
Yeah,
well.
so I think they just had to act genuine and insert her a lot, like for that reason, because otherwise she'd have only been in 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed all the stuff when him and his mom were down like underground with those guys, with
The Freeman.
the woman, what she was like the land surveyor
yeah, so
or the botanist,
you know,
or something.
the woman between two people.
Yeah, all that stuff where she was
was awesome.
And like the stuff about the emperor and how she was like, I'm faithful to the emperor, but like this is wrong. Like what I didn't really understand, and again it doesn't really matter, but like, why did the emperor go to such lengths to destroy this family? Like, why didn't he just destroy them on their own planet?
Well,
like, why give them another one, fuck it up, ruin everything just to kill this family?
Because they were a threat to him, because they're because obviously like Oscar Isaac is the most awesome noble leader ever, right?
Yeah.
So House Atreides was a threat to the emperor, and so but he can't just outright kill them for no reason, because that they've so much support, right? So that would look bad.
Okay.
So he does so he manipulates it all so it looks like he's giving them loads of favor by giving them this amazing source of the galaxy, but he knows and secretly funds with his army House Arcanes or Harkonnen, what are they called? The Harkonnens?
God, don't ask me.
The Stellan Skarsgård floating Dave Bautista crew. He funds them to and helps them go in and take the planet back, so it's their war, which they're happy.
Right.
So it's them taking down House Atreides, not the Emperor.
It was such like
Right.
that whole we didn't even discuss the fact that Jason Momoa was like Timothy's bodyguard or whatever. Loved him in it.
I liked him, yeah.
I really like the whole idea that like only women ever have this voice to compel. So when Timothy and his mom were captured and they're in the airplane and they gag her but they don't gag him, and then he's able to get the right tone. I like enjoyed that we build up to him getting the right voice.
Yeah.
And then he uses it. And then also the fact that when him and his mom were doing like their secret sign language, like, I just loved all the stuff with him and his mom, and that is very unusual to see a son-mother relationship like this on screen, right? Where they're like total allies and like basically
and
helping each
kick-ass
other.
allies.
Yeah.
And I loved all the sandworms created such like threat.
Oh my god, I was like, there's so much threat in this movie, and then you have the sandworms.
Yeah, it's an awesome threat. It's one of the like standout like features of the book, and the just him and his mother like doing the sand shuffle through the desert, like that. All that stuff with them out in this like treacherous terrain that's trying to kill them. I was like found really fascinating, and then watching them trying to navigate this strange people, the Freemen, and I feel like all of that. It makes really interesting elements for Dune Part 2, which I'm obviously like well signed up.
Oh, and also just like we have to wrap up because we're collecting the kids now, but I really enjoyed like, and this is probably from the book, but the stuff about like how you have suits and tents that like you're in this incredibly hot climate where they make it very clear you'd be dead within 2 hours, and then the suit or the tent will like capture all your sweat and tears for you to like drink them back.
It's brilliant.
That's so interesting.
Well, like, really,
and also disgusting.
And I love that there's so much good world building in this that is like, you know, great ideas from the source novel, but then just visualized by Denis Villeneuve and his production team so amazingly.
It looks so good, and I actually think, you know, the way
the
like
aesthetic of everything was just so like
so
clean
gorgeous.
and sparse.
I wish we'd seen it in IMAX.
I really wish I had to. Like the screen wasn't big enough, and I was too far back from it. And
it is on HBO Max in the States actually, but I don't think it's on VOD over here, is it? I think it's just in the cinema here.
I think cinema only. But I believe that he fought hard, like Christopher Nolan, to have it as a theatrical exclusive. So are you sure it's on HBO Max?
Yeah, definitely on HBO Max.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
He's probably not happy about that.
But also it will, it will help the numbers. Like you'll get a bit of both now, kind of best of both, I guess.
Yeah.
But I could talk about it all day. To be honest, just all the world building stuff, but we have to go. But like for me, it was such a pleasant surprise.
Do you know what was so? It was just so like big. Like I got a sense of scale. Everything. You know, there's giant spaceships, people standing in front of them. Like he's got a real eye for like creating scale.
Yeah.
And also, but just the scale of the galaxy felt big, right?
Yeah.
With just by the nature of the plot and all the political
and
intrigue.
it justified its running time and only being a part one, honestly, to me, because like, for example, you show that bit at the start when he's watching that like video, the hologram video that talks about the snake walk, right, which is really interesting. Then him and his mom are actually on the desert doing it. Then we need to see the effect of like what happens if there's a regular sound, what that actually does, like how quickly the sandworms come out, which is immediately. We need time to see all that, like, and that's not 10 minutes wasted. That's actually an awesome 10 minutes when you put it all together to see.
It's a really economical 2 hours and 30 minutes, isn't it?
See, him and his mom are being like hunted down, trying to be killed. His dad's been killed. All this awful stuff's happened. And now you have to worry about this fecking walk, because if you don't walk right, you're going to be killed by a snake. And I love those thumper things that like make this consistent noise.
That attract them
And I love,
so that you can hook on and ride them.
and
so
the really cool woman, the woman from the Emperor who he ended up killing, but like when she knew that she was about to go down and she just started thumping on the sand with her hand, I love that when they all fell into the sand. That was amazing.
so good.
But we have to go, but please let us know your thoughts on Dune if you liked it as much as we did.
Yeah, we're at the Cinemile, on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram, or email us at thecinemile@gmail.com. And we do love chatting with you guys.
We
Let
do.
us know
And head over
what
to
you think.
Apple Podcasts and subscribe and leave us 5 stars. We would greatly appreciate that.
And or, if you're watching Succession, then we're doing weekly episodes for that over on our Patreon, patreon.com/thecinemile.
Yeah,
and we're 2 episodes from the end of Squid Game, so we're going to do a whole thing on that as
ready
well.
to go. Right.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Ah!